the Palm Beach Playbook. This is a Trump campaign
Okay.
newsletter that comes out
I
every single night to your
think this
email.
is working,
All you have
hopefully.
to do is sign up for it, and it's going to be truth
It says
and
we have no viewers. Oh, okay,
truth and
3 viewers. So,
transparency
guys, just in the chat,
right
let me know
there
if you hear me
in
well,
a
if the audio
newsletter.
sounds
So you'll
good and
have right
everything,
size that we hope that you have already
looks
signed
good
up for. You
on the
can do
stream
that if
because
you have not
I haven't
already on
done one of these in a while.
rsbnetwork.com.
And I
Sign up for our
definitely haven't
newsletter that
with
we
my
send
new
out
setup,
maybe
with
about
my
once
new
a week
mic
or
and
so,
everything.
depending
So
on the events
please let
taking
me know
place. And then
if
nightly now from
everything
the Trump
is good.
campaign, you can have the
I know we're
Palm
starting a
Beach
little bit
Playbook,
early. I
which is a
did plan
nightly
for
newsletter
8:30,
that
and
you'll
it's
get to your
currently
email.
8:16
Both
on the
newsletters,
East Coast.
Palm Beach newsletter, RSBN newsletter,
Okay.
those are both.
All right. So, oh, okay. So I did not know it gives audio. That is cool. I did not know it gives. So I assume you can hear me now because I muted that um that video. I assume. Please let me know if it sounds good now. But but so I did not know that we can actually have audio come directly from the video that I'm playing, or from the tab, I should say, that I'm using. So that's actually really cool. I did not know that at all. Um, all right, so sounds good. So, hello's 5 viewers now. If you all could share this stream, that would help out a lot. I'd really appreciate that if you could share, if you have your own channel or wherever. Tell people to join. That would help out a lot. It is way more fun when there are multiple people, or not multiple, but a lot of people. On a stream, and we're already down to 3 people. I'm not very good at streams, but we are just waiting. I didn't even realize. I'm doing the stream just about when Donald Trump is about to come out at the Libertarian National Convention and actually give a speech, address the libertarian delegates and try to get their votes. This is something that is very interesting and never really seen before. I mean, Democrat and Republican presidential candidates have never addressed the Libertarian National Convention, and this time around, not only is Trump about to, but Robert F. Kennedy Jr. did last night, and that's just really something that is out of the ordinary. But I mean, it makes sense. Donald Trump, reportedly, at least, there have been reports that he hates with his guts, or with the whatever his heart. He hates Joe Jorgensen, because the Libertarian nominee in 2020, because he believed she handed the election to Trump, because or sorry, she handed the election to Biden, which is not true, because even if Donald Trump got every single libertarian vote, he still wouldn't have won enough states to cross 270. But whatever. Um, so this time around, he is targeting these libertarian voters. He, you know, is trying to get libertarian voters on his side. But it's actually very interesting because, while you would think that a minor party like the Libertarian Party would really appreciate having someone as high profile as Trump come to their convention and bring so much attention to their convention, they are hate on Trump. I mean, they are just so many delegates at the convention are really against Donald Trump being there. They say that the time that Trump will spend speaking and the time that Kennedy spent, that time should be given to actual libertarians. So many people are against Kennedy and Trump speaking at the event. They believe that they are basically being used. So we'll see what happens. But Mike Lee, the senator from Utah, who just spoke at the convention a little bit ago, when he told the audience to vote for Trump in November, they all booed him. He was booed off the stage. One second. Let me publicize this live stream in my community tab. One second. I just can't speak while I'm typing, so. But it is super cool that I got this video up, this broadcast, and it's cool that that I can get, like, audio come directly from the tab. Okay, why is no one saying anything in the chat? That's kind of annoying. And conservative American predictions, I literally gave you the link. Alright, so we're at 7 viewers now, that's nice. Now we have some, chats here, so someone, I'm not reading that name, says, "Curious to see classical liberal caucus versus the Mises caucuses, and their slate of endorsements and who will win, Oliver, versus Rector, for example." So yeah, very interesting to see how this plays out. And I personally am really interested in libertarian primaries. I mean, especially this one because it really is so divided, even more divided than it was in 2020 and definitely 2016. But but yeah, the Libertarian Party, if you actually know about them, you get really interested because you do see that despite how minor of a party it is, you see that there is this divide in the party between the classical liberal caucus, which is the more centrist part of the party, the caucus that I don't know if they were around that back then, but the type of libertarians who pushed Gary Johnson and Bill Weld in 2016, more centrist, more mainstream kind of libertarians. And then you see, since 2016, after Gary Johnson and Bill Weld failed in 2016, you saw the Mises Caucus kind of take over the party. And this is a more anti-establishment, way more outsider, much more pro-freedom, and much more core libertarian kind of part of the party. Really, come together and take over the party. They got, many chair positions, state chair positions, and many of the delegates now are part of the Mises Caucus, and they are kind of known to control um, the party at this point in time. So I have heard, I don't know if it was from you. No, it wasn't from you. Someone who was who was involved with the Mises Caucus say that they are backing Michael Rectenwald, which does make sense. He has been seen as the most, as the most libertarian, as the most anti-establishment of all the candidates. While other candidates, like you mentioned here, Chase Oliver, they tend to be more in the mainstream, not really anywhere near the level of centrism that Bill Weld and Gary Johnson held in 2016, but still, much more in it to win it, kind of, than just the messaging kind of campaign that someone like Michael Rechtenwald would run, that the Mises Caucus would want to run. At least, people from the classical liberal caucus, like Chase Oliver, like Charles Ballet, whoever else, Mike Termat, maybe you could argue. But a lot of these other guys um, are kind of in it to actually, get attention. Larson Mapp said, in it to get electoral votes, or in it to get attention for the Libertarian Party and increase membership. So that's my thoughts on it. And yeah, so that will be very interesting to see. Now they vote tomorrow. I will definitely make a video. Maybe I'll even live stream the voting, the actual delegates voting. But we'll see on that. Yeah, you're exactly right. The libertarian primaries are always the most interesting primaries of them all. That's for sure. Um, who is the biggest rhino? They're libertarians, so none of them, I guess. Please get intelligent. Anyway, so Donald Trump should be speaking any minute now. Now he was supposed to speak at 8, and I don't know exactly what's happening from that. I'm going to check Twitter here. So we only have 5 viewers, which really sucks. So if anyone could please share it. I don't know where people like conservative American predictions went, or I don't know where like post presidency went. But but apparently the delegates and attendees at the convention are planning on kind of really messing with Trump's speech. Um, they, I saw a bunch of signs that say "Free Ross," and Ross was this guy who um I don't know his first name, but his last name was Ross, and he is basically a Julian Assange of the world. He was arrested. I think he like exposed something about the government, and he was arrested for that. And of course, libertarians want to free people like him and Julian Assange. And Donald Trump had some involvement, like he imprisoned him or something. So they are going to hold up these signs that say "Free Ross." And also, the Kennedy campaign really just made sure to distribute these rubber chickens that make the squeaky sound and want delegates and attendees to squeak them during Trump's speech because um, they say debate Bobby and he's whatever they're saying he's too chicken to debate Bobby, so to debate RFK Jr. And speaking of RFK Jr., I actually saw an RFK Jr. yard sign today. Yes, in Connecticut. I live here in Connecticut. And for the first time, I knew it happened soon because the Kennedy supporters really love to show their support. And from what I've seen, they really love to put signs out and stuff like that and wear stuff. That's my first sign that I've seen. My mom claims she saw a bumper sticker once, whatever. And yeah. Alright, so Michael says, I think it's Colin Powell. Dude endorsed Obama in '08 and then voted for Hillary and Biden. What are you talking about? Oh, okay. So you're saying this question like not related at all to what I'm talking about. Okay, that at least makes some more sense. Thanks for clarifying that, I guess. But I don't know. Like whatever. There's so many um uh, uh rhinos, as you call them. Um, all right. And we're still waiting on Trump. We have a Kennedy supporter here in the comments. So my thoughts on Kennedy, interesting, very interesting. Because Kennedy, I really don't have fundamental disagreements with. Out of Biden, Trump, Cornel West, Jill Stein, and and Kennedy, the major candidates that we have right now, because the Libertarians haven't put up anyone yet. They will tomorrow. I would probably support Kennedy because Jill Stein and Cornel West. I supported Cornel West initially, but I really have fundamental disagreements with them when it comes to leftism. Um, and especially whatever foreign relations and everything like that. And I think they would make awful presidents. Not to mention that I just don't think that they have. I mean, I'm not an experienced guy, trust me, but they don't really have anything that would qualify them at all. Now, Trump, obviously, fundamental disagreements with. I really dislike Donald Trump. And Joe Biden, I don't think that we can really have Joe Biden or Donald Trump and really move forward as a country. I just think that there is too much baggage with both of them, and our country is only going to get way more divided. And our relations and everything. I think that a civil war like will come eventually. On the track that on the track that things are going right now. We could have oh god, not like Linda. Um, we could have a solid president soon in 2028 or whatever that's actually popular for once, and we could whatever escape a civil war. That'd be nice if that happens. But but as for Donald Trump and Joe Biden, I don't think that we can move forward as a country with them. Now that leaves Kennedy, and I think that Kennedy is way over dramatic. Um, when it comes to COVID, he said yesterday at the convention when he spoke that it was that that what he told some story and he basically said, yeah, dying is actually better. Dying from COVID is actually better than living like slaves. Like, no, it wasn't slavery. Get over it. Yes, they took your freedoms away, whatever. They censored you. Sure, there were major problems during COVID. Biden and Trump shouldn't have locked down the country. I think that most people, if they actually hear the facts about business and everything and about other countries' statistics, can agree on that. But no, you weren't living like a slave. Get over it. There were much worse things. The Pancakes Rock. Donald Trump is about to speak at this Libertarian National Convention. He is really late. I don't know what's going on with old Donnie, but he is really late to this thing. But I'm going to be sharing the broadcast. And yeah. So if anyone has any questions in the comments, please let me know. But honestly, branching off of what I was saying, with me not being happy with Trump, Biden, Cornel West, Jill Stein, or anyone, depending on who the Libertarian nominee is, I could actually see myself by November supporting the Libertarian nominee. Now that seems insane because I have a lot of disagreements with the Libertarian Party. But honestly, out of the choices, I think that they might actually be the best option. Like if I had to pick a president, it might be. And I think that I share like a lot of core values that libertarians hold. There's the free Ross sign that I was talking about. So here we have conservative American predictions, which I guess I'll bring on because we're waiting for Trump to speak. Here we go. I think that works so cool. Yeah, you got
Yeah. Hey, how are you doing?
picture there.
How are you doing?
Hold on 1 second.
Got it.
All right, so yeah, good. I just had to. Oh, sorry, my audio is all messed up. Um. Wait. So I don't know if this is overlapping in the audio or in the stream, but I am hearing my own voice and I don't know how to turn the volume off on this
I
tab.
don't
But
know if
only
it's the
my
same. I don't know if it's the same as the people can hear as me, but I can't hear your voice twice. I just hear it normally.
Okay. Okay. This is so annoying though, cause I hear my own voice. Anyway, I'll just deal with it, I guess. So Tester says let me in, and that's just not happening. I'm sorry. Well, no one besides me and besides Don and Biden are viable.
So
Yeah,
if you had
Tester.
to pick someone who's going for the Libertarian nominee, aside from Kennedy, because I know you like Kennedy, who would you support? Like out of the ones that are actually registered Libertarians?
Um. Well, first of all, like your audio, I think something's going on with mine, but it's probably. Do I have the stream up or something? Oh, okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I had another tab open in another window, and that's why I was here in a second. Anyway, if I had to pick a libertarian, I would. I know like everyone on the internet, like online, like this is the favorite, and it's it's the whatever the boring choice,
Mark.
but I would go Chase Oliver, just cause he seems like normal. Like some of these other guys, I mean, like let's be honest, would make awful presidents.
Yeah, I was looking into some of the stuff the other day, for some of the people running. I forget who it was, but their campaign website was literally insane. Like
Yes,
some of the stuff they were saying was like, okay, you're like generic libertarian stuff, but some of the other stuff was like, what? How can you get away with saying that and you're running for president? Like,
I know. Yeah,
It was
and
crazy.
not to mention, like, the layout of their websites, I mean, it's
I
just,
know.
like, thrown together, like, it's
I
awesome.
know, and I forget who it was again because it's been a while, but one of their websites was, like, really weird. It was, like it didn't even look like it was a, site for an office or something. It
Yeah,
looked more like a just
it
something
was
else.
it was probably Joshua Smith, but was it,
Yeah,
like
I think that's who it was. It was, like, purple or something.
yes, yeah, yeah, it looked like some, like, I don't know, like a rock band or something, I don't know.
Mhm.
But, alright, so let's answer some comments here. So, someone says, "What time does the actual nomination happen?" So, I believe it happens tomorrow. I heard Lars Mapstead, in his closing remarks, which I recommend, people look at because it was really, really good. But, he said, "Vote for me tomorrow." So, I assume it's happening tomorrow, the 3rd day of the convention, so that would make sense. So we have a libertarian for RFK here. Alright, we got Cheez It Man there. And you can see there, in the video, the signs, Free Ross. He was, like, some journalist who went to jail. I think, like, Trump jailed him for, exposing something about the government. But those signs are everywhere at the convention, and like, when Trump is speaking, they wanna, like, wave them and stuff. But I think that, Trump is actually coming out now. Because yeah, there he is. See him?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone. So this is gonna be very, very interesting because, like, Donald Trump, like, throughout his entire career, think about it, he has never given a single speech to a crowd that doesn't absolutely love him, that aren't his hardcore supporters. Like, this is, like,
I
at
mean,
least a
to be
campaign
fair to
rally.
be fair, he has given speeches to people that don't like him before at the State of the Union, but
Yeah, yeah, but, like, for campaign rallies.
yeah.
Um Like, when, like, he's giving his, like, campaign rhetoric and
I
all
mean,
that.
also, another thing, I guess candidates really don't go out of their way to do events to people that don't like them because it just doesn't happen, but yeah.
Exactly. Doesn't make sense, like, you'll just get booed, and I think that Trump was kind of expecting, um, for the libertarians to be very friendly towards him, but from what we've seen so far in this convention, every libertarian candidate is going after Trump, making sure that Donald Trump is not nominated by any cost or
Well,
doesn't get any delegate votes.
I
Um
heard that I heard that, in the back of the room, there's more of, like, the Trump base who are libertarians. I heard there's a bunch of people wearing, like, MAGA hats toward the back, but the people who are actually up front are the ones with, like, the anti-Trump stuff.
Okay. Yeah, libertarians and their conventions, so interesting. Libertarians have to be like the most interesting political party. All
They
right,
do
someone
because they 'cause
says
they're all over the place. Because I mean, you
that
have some left-wing libertarians, and then you have, like,
yes,
right-wing libertarians. It's really
I
interesting.
know. Yeah, they are. There is a wide range of libertarian ideology. Someone says, "Did you see the LNC exposed website? It has a Tom Woods exposed and Michael Rechtenwald exposed sections too." That's interesting, but going after their own candidate.
Oh, yeah, okay, here I think yeah, it was Michael or not Michael, it was, Jacob Hornberger, he's the insane one. I'm looking at his website
Yes.
now. It was
Um.
like he's like, "Repeal Social Security, repeal Medicaid, repeal
Yeah.
Medicare." Like, what?
I'm gonna actually turn on the audio, for the
Okay,
speech to hear what he has to say in the beginning here.
got it.
I am truly honored to be invited here tonight as the first president in American history to address the Libertarian National Convention. Great honor. A lot of people ask why I came to speak at this Libertarian convention, and it's an interesting question, isn't it? But we're gonna have a lot of fun. Well, in the last year, I've been indicted by the government on 91 different things. So if I wasn't a libertarian before, I sure as hell am a libertarian now. And unlike Joe Biden, I don't throw people in jail for disagreeing with me. I don't do that. I want to thank some people that have been really outstanding, and they are great libertarians and great people. Ambassador Rick Grinnell, Senator Mike Lee, Kash Patel, and Senate candidate who's going to win from Virginia, Hung Cao. I also want to pay our deepest respects to the two young missionaries
Has Trump
from
endorsed Hung
Missouri,
Cao before this, or
Davy and Natalie Lloyd, that were viciously killed yesterday in Haiti? It was a horrible thing.
Yeah,
and I
I'm
just want
pretty
to pay
sure
our
Trump endorsed
respects
Hung
to their families. They're great families, incredible people, and it's a very, very sad moment. What happened was so horrible. So to Davy and Natalie, please, thank you very much. I'd also like to express my gratitude to all the fierce champions of freedom in this room. You are champions of freedom. You are indeed. And I'm here to talk to you about the rise of left-wing fascism in the country and to need to defeat the corrupt and incompetent tyrant in the White House, crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of the United States. He is the worst president by far in the history of the United States. In fact, I would say that Jimmy Carter is very happy tonight because he goes down as being a brilliant president by comparison. Everyone here tonight believes that we must fight for the same fundamental freedoms: freedom of expression, freedom of religion, freedom of the right to own a firearm, and freedom over taxation. Oh, that was interesting. Then you're going to like me, firearm, you're going to like me. Nobody better than me. And we just got the full NRA, the strongest endorsement they've ever given the NRA. So that's good. Freedom from overregulation, freedom from government discrimination. And we believe that we do not have a free country if we do not have free speech, and very strongly believe that. We stand opposed to government tyranny in all of its many forms. We are opposed to a government that spies on political campaigns. I wonder who that might be. Like they did on me, spies on the American people, censors us, and crushes the rights of its own citizens, which the Biden administration does. We want government out of our business, out of our wallets, and out of our lives. That's what we want. We believe that Marxism is an evil doctrine straight from the ashes of hell. Having Marxism in our government is intolerable, and teaching it to our children is considered to us child abuse. We believe that the job of the United States military is not to wage endless regime change wars around the globe, senseless wars. The job of the United States military is to defend America from attack and invasion here at home. We believe that property rights are fundamental to a free society, and that Joe Biden's rampant inflation is a monstrous theft from the American people. It's a theft. We believe that the greatest threat to our country is not from enemies abroad. It's the tyrants, communists, fascists, and thugs attacking our rights and liberties from within. And above all else, we live by the words of the great American patriot, Patrick Henry: give me liberty or give me death. Our rights and freedoms have never been more in danger than they are right now. That is why I have come to extend a hand of friendship to ask for your partnership to defeat communism, defeat Marxism, and defeat crooked Joe Biden, who is destroying our country. He's destroying our country. We can be libertarian or anything else. This man is destroying our country. Thank you. And by the way, why isn't Joe Biden here speaking to you tonight? You know why? Why isn't he? Because he can't put two sentences together. That's why he's not here. The fact is, we should not be fighting each other. If Joe Biden gets back in, there will be no more liberty for anyone in our country. Combined with us in a partnership, we're asking that of the Libertarians. We must work together. Combine with us. You have to combine with us. We cannot give crooked Joe Biden 4 more years. We cannot give crooked Joe Biden 4 more years. Today's radical left Democrat Party is not a Democrat Party of years ago, which still wanted big government, but at least believed in tolerance and free speech. Joe Biden's radical left Democrat Party is a fascist movement that wants to throw you in jail. If you post a meme they don't like, they want to throw you in jail if you do something that isn't quite to their liking. What you're witnessing under Biden is a toxic fusion of the Marxist left, the deep state, the military-industrial complex, the government security and surveillance services, and their partners, all merging together into a hideous perversion of the American system. And that's exactly what it is. The fact is that Joe Biden is a threat to democracy. My mission is to liberate our nation from these fascist frauds and to rescue our democracy, to restore our republic, and to evict crooked Joe Biden from the White House so that America can be a free nation once again. He's the worst in history. The Biden regime censors its critics, spies on its opposition, takes away the bank accounts of U.S. citizens as an extra form of punishment, persecutes Christians and patriotic parents, and is currently trying to put the leading candidate for president in jail. That happens to be me. While imposing a strict gag order in order to keep me from talking about their crimes and their unconstitutional acts. They want to get rid of the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, due process, the right to a fair trial, and the right to counsel, all the while pushing wealth confiscation and waging endless and unnecessary wars all over the globe. Anyone can talk about defending freedom, but I've actually put everything on the line to resist these despots and these stuff. And I stand before you tonight as your best hope of defeating the weaponized Biden and the very evil regime that his people, because it's probably not him because he doesn't know where the hell he is, but that his people are pursuing. You can make the difference. The Libertarian Party can make a big difference. The Libertarian Party can make a big difference. Together, we can make America freer than ever before for citizens of all backgrounds and all walks of life. We can unleash new hope, optimism, and energy. We can release limited government so that the people can have an unlimited future. United, we will be unstoppable. If we unite, we are unstoppable. I will be a true friend to libertarians in the White House. And I am proud to be the only president in 70 years who started no new wars. I took on the military-industrial complex. I broke the stranglehold on neocons and warmongers on the Republican Party. And instead of war, I made peace in the Middle East, something nobody thought was possible, and dealt with Kim Jong-un of North Korea, where a nuclear war was guaranteed to start in a very short period of time if Hillary Clinton became president. You know, that would have been a nuclear war, 100%. And you would have never had the October 7th attack in Israel, would have never happened. And the attack in Ukraine by Russia would never, ever have happened. Wouldn't have happened. Hundreds of thousands and even millions of people would be living today. I unbound the United States from globalist agreements that surrendered our sovereignty. I withdrew from the Paris Accord. I withdrew from the anti-gun UN arms treaty. And I withdrew from the corrupt and very expensive World Health Organization. Not a good thing. I passed the most significant, and this is so important, but I passed the most significant criminal justice reform in history. And perhaps my proudest accomplishment is to have exposed the depth of corruption in the Washington swamp. Thanks to me, the entire world knows that the deep state is real, and the lamestream media is fake. It's fake. A great libertarian who may very well be in the room right now, I believe, but he's a great libertarian, DeRoy Murdoch, who I've become friends with through his writings in the American Spectator and numerous other places, wrote an article yesterday in which he mentions just some of the things that make me a libertarian without even trying to be one. That's nice. DeRoy wrote, Donald J. Trump will address the Libertarian Party and its national convention on Saturday. The Libertarian Party should nominate Trump for President of the United States. Whoa. That's nice. That's nice. Only if you want to win. Only if you want to win. Maybe you don't want to win. Maybe you don't want to win. Thank you, DeRoy. Thank you. No, only do that if you want to win. If you want to lose, don't do that. Keep getting your 3% every 4 years. The reasons for doing so, policy and politics, are as solid as the Hope Diamond. DeRoy says this event is very unprecedented, he said. As the Cato Institute president, Peter Gotler, observed in Thursday's Washington Post, it will be the first time in U.S., think of this, first time in U.S. history that a presidential candidate of a rival party will address the convention of a party that is presumably gathering to nominate its own candidate. Now I think you should nominate me or at least vote for me, and we should win together. You heard those words. Nominate me or vote. Vote for me. Because the libertarians want to vote for me, and most of them will. And it's very important. Because we have to get rid of the worst president in history. And together we will. And without it, there's a risk that we could have 4 more years. We won't have a country left. So what is the purpose of the Libertarian Party getting 3%? What is the reason to take a chance of having this horrible president destroy our country, which he will do in far less than 4 years? It's not going to take 4 years. That is why I'm committing to you tonight that I will put a libertarian in my cabinet and also libertarians in senior posts. Pretty good. That's pretty big. Or you can keep going the way you have for the last long decades and get your 3%, then meet again, get another 3%. No, you want to make yourself winners. It's time to be winners. You have a lot of common sense. It's time to be winners. So I'm asking for the liberation. Well, think of it. I'm asking for the Libertarian Party's endorsement, or at least lots of your votes, lots and lots of libertarian votes, based on my 4-year, very outstanding presidential record. Much of my record is libertarian. As an example, DeRoy, thank you. Hey, where is DeRoy? Is he here? DeRoy, where are you? He's great. I like DeRoy. I've liked him for a long time, and he is a libertarian. Thank you, DeRoy. Thank you. DeRoy wrote, the $1.5 trillion Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was America's largest infusion of tax release. That's the largest tax relief ever. It sliced individual tax rates for all taxpayers and slashed corporate tax rates from a punishing 35% to a globally competitive, and much more than that, only 21%, way down. It was the largest tax cut in the history of our country. Now you can like it or you don't have to like it. Immediate expensing of business equipment and other reductions fueled the best economy that our country has ever had. For 4 years, we had the best economy our country has ever had. Black and Hispanic unemployment reached the best levels in history. Female joblessness slid to levels unseen before. Black poverty collapsed to record lows. And all of the things, income inequality shrank, and it shrank at levels we've never witnessed. Between 2016 and 2019, real median household income grew. These were the Trump years, 16.4%, the highest ever, to almost $10,000 per family. Think of that. Number two, Trump cut red tape as never before. He promised to kill 2 old regulations for every new one. And in fact, he ended up actually scrapping 8 for 1, and he was going to 12 to 1 and doing numbers that were unbelievable. Thank you, DeRoy. DeRoy is, and I'm actually just quoting from the article that came out today from DeRoy Murdoch. He said, number 3, Trump fully restrained inflation. We had practically none. Prices were rising just 1.4% as he left office. And this was a fraction of the 9% inflation that lying Joe Biden repeatedly claims Trump handed him. No, he said we handed him. No, it went up to 9% after he took over the White House and created all the inflationary
Hey, Tester is
acts.
done told me on Discord that
Did a
you're about like a
horrible
minute and a
job.
half behind on the
The
stream, so you
30-year
should probably
mortgage
reload it.
rate, as Trump departed,
Yeah,
was
I do know that. I just don't want to like
2.77%
skip
versus the
ahead at
almost
like
9%
because
today.
there's so much
Also,
of
he
And
it.
you,
said-
by the way,
he
even
said
if you
free
pay
tester is
9%,
done.
you can't get any money. There's no money available. Trump's
Yeah, not happening
drill
already,
baby
kicked
drill approach fostered energy independence, which
I'm
we've
just
never
going to
had
keep it
before.
how like where it is.
Low fuel and electricity
just 'cause I
prices
don't wanna
help
skip
moderate
them.
inflation and propel economic
Sounds
growth.
good.
But all of these things have now skyrocketed. They have skyrocketed to levels never seen. Inflation has hit us harder than it's probably ever hit us before, and people are suffering because of it. Trump promoted parental rights and school choice. Trump's education department repealed the so-called guidance letter that turned on-campus sexual harassment accusations into de facto criminal convictions. You know all about that. Who else would do that for you? Trump restored due process to the he said, she said minefield for your children. I know many, many people, what they've gone through with that is they've gone through hell. In a powerful blow, Trump required universities to respect the First Amendment lest they lose their federal funds. I said, you don't respect the First Amendment, we're taking away all of your federal funding. Trump torpedoed Obamacare's individual mandate and got rid of many of its taxes. Medical price transparency empowered consumers to shop for health care services and compare costs. And this is one of the biggest things that's happened, and it's reducing the price of drugs and everything related to drugs and medical care at levels not seen before. This will soon be happening. The competition is now slowing what were ballooning healthcare expenses. Trump signed right to try. Terminally ill patients now can receive experimental and possibly life-saving treatments. And when at death's door, what do these suffering Americans have to lose? What do they have to lose, you ask? They are so thousands and thousands of people are now living because of right to try. Trump nominated some 300 constitutionalist federal judges, a record, including a seldom seen 3 Supreme Court justices in one presidential term. very rarely seen before, if ever. Trump canceled and defunded federal diversity, equity, and inclusion programs and other state-funded racism schemes. The VA Mission Act, which Trump signed, lets military veterans receive federally funded medical care in the private sector if delays prevent their treatment in VA hospitals. In other words, if they're delayed, they can go out and get a private doctor. We pay the bill. They go out, they get a private doctor, they get better. People were waiting online for 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, and not anymore. Trump signed a measure that streamlined dismissals of federal bureaucrats who abuse America's beloved veterans. He got NATO countries to pay hundreds of billions of dollars more for their protection. The only president who did so, and substantially reducing what we were forced to pay. We got them to pay, other nations to pay hundreds of billions of dollars that they weren't paying. No other president was able to do that, reducing very substantially what we paid. During the Trump administration, we had peace through strength, no wars other than the complete and total destruction of ISIS. And DeRoy ended by saying that most libertarians would say this is a non-exhaustive roster of accomplishments like no other, that it truly shines. So again, DeRoy, thank you very much. DeRoy Murdoch, I appreciate it. We could not have written that better. And as you say, there were many other things we did that were quite libertarian also. So I want to thank you very much. That was a great article. Thank you. DeRoy Murdoch, thank you. When I return to the White House, we will break the deep state grip on our democracy once and for all. I did far more than any other president in that regard. As an example, I inherited James Comey, a terrible, terrible person from the Obama administration. And very early on, I fired him and lots of others at the FBI, in addition to thousands and thousands of corrupt and unnecessary people throughout our government. And now we are going to finish the job. We will root out the sickness that has taken over our Justice Department, our FBI, and other agencies. Our goal will be nothing less than the rebirth of fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law. Since the day he took office, Joe Biden has worked to persecute political dissidents, including conservatives, Catholics, and other Christians and opponents. Who has said, one, I will commute the sentence of Ross Ulbricht, to a sentence of time served. He's already served 11 years. We're going to get him home. We're going to get him home. I'm proud that I have put forward a detailed plan to smash the censorship and industrial complex and restore free speech. On day one, I will sign an executive order banning federal agencies from colluding to censor the lawful speech of American citizens. And we will remove the rogue bureaucrats who conspire to take away your First Amendment freedoms. We will do that quickly. I will once again slash a record number of liberty-destroying regulations. I will stop Joe Biden's plan for the largest tax. He is going to give you the largest tax increase in the history of our country. And I will end that. And I will make the Trump tax cuts the biggest in the history of our country. We will make them permanent tax cuts. We will also stop the massive Biden inflation tax, a stealth tax by which crooked Joe Biden is printing trillions and trillions of dollars and plundering it for the cronies and political friends that he's got all over Washington. And we will cancel the Green New Deal, which is the Green New Scam. It's a big scam. We will terminate Crooked Joe's insane electric vehicle mandate. And we're going to bring your energy costs down by 60 and 70% because we will drill, baby, drill. We're going to drill, baby, drill. We will eliminate illegal government discrimination, return to a society based on individual rights and individual merit. Thank you. And I will also stop Joe Biden's crusade to crush crypto. We're going to stop it. I will ensure that the future of crypto and the future of Bitcoin will be made in the USA, not driven overseas. I will support the right to self-custody to the nation's 50 million crypto holders. I say this with your vote. I will keep Elizabeth Warren and her goons away from your Bitcoin. And I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency. I will also immediately end the humanitarian disaster on our southern border. We will end it quickly. You cannot have capitalism and also have open borders because you will soon be turned into a socialist nation, then a poor nation, and finally you will be a failed nation. By ending the border crisis, which we will do immediately, we will save freedom, prosperity, and capitalism in America. And before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after we win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. So we quit spending hundreds of billions of dollars to fight other people's wars, and so that we start immediately saving thousands and thousands of lives. And I am committed to restoring peace and restoring stability and to stopping Joe Biden's march to World War III. You know you're being led right into World War III. You know that. World War III and like no other because of the weaponry, the massive weaponry. It will be a war like no other. We will stop it. And I'm the only one that's going to be able to stop it. I will protect American sovereignty from the creeping hands of global government. And as we speak, Joe Biden's minions are in Geneva, secretly negotiating to surrender more of our liberty to the World Health Organization. Drafts of the agreement show that they want to subjugate America to foreign nations, attack free speech, empower the World Health Organization to redistribute American resources. They're going to take our money and send it all over the world to other countries that we need for our own citizens in the event of a pandemic. And it can happen again. I am hereby demanding that Joe Biden submit these monstrosities to the Senate as treaties. They have to be submitted as treaties because he cannot be allowed to do that, destroy our country. He is. If he does not, I will rip them up and throw them out on day one of the Trump administration. On education, we will cut federal funding for any school pushing Marxist and communist race and gender theories on our children. We will keep men out of women's sports. And I will not give one penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. We will shut down our out-of-control federal Department of Education and give it back to the states and local governments. I will return power to the states, local governments, and to the American people. I am a believer in the 10th Amendment. I will always defend religious liberty and the right to keep and bear arms. And I will secure our elections. So in conclusion, to every freedom lover here today, and there are a lot of them, and all across our land, I say, this is no ordinary election. Freedom itself is at stake. This will be the most important election in the history of our country. So if you want to strike a blow against the corrupt system in Washington, if you want to send a message to all of the people who want to take away your liberty, then right now in this election, we need your help. We need your support. When I'm in the White House, you will always find an open door to the Oval Office. Together, we are taking on some of the most menacing forces and vicious opponents our people have ever seen. But no matter how hateful or corrupt the communists and criminals we're fighting are, and they are vicious and they are corrupt, you must never forget, this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you, belongs to you. This is your home, this is your heritage, and our American liberty is your God-given right. 2024 is our final battle. With your help, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. And we will drain the swamp, and we will restore and rescue our country from these tyrants and villains once and for all. Ladies and gentlemen, the great liberation of America begins on November 5th, 2024. It will be the most important day in the history of our country, and the forgotten man and woman will be forgotten no longer. I want to thank you. I want your support. And again, you can either nominate us and put us in the position or give us your votes. I would say nominate or give us your votes, but we want libertarian votes because you stand for what we stand for, and don't waste a vote. And don't allow the worst president in the history of our country to come back and do the final destruction of America. Thank you very much, everybody. God bless you. God bless you.
Okay. That was something. Again, as I was saying before, we really have never seen anything, any kind of environment where Trump is speaking really like this at all. You know, in an actual campaign rally, quote unquote, with, you know, people that are actually unfriendly, sort of, for the most part, I should say, towards the speaker. He was met. I mean, there were a lot of times where you really couldn't tell whether the crowd was cheering or booing, or whatever. But I mean, for the most part, it wasn't a disaster. I don't think. I mean, it's clear that libertarians do not like this guy, and he won't be nominated, and he won't get many votes at all, and you know, many libertarians won't vote for him at all. So for the most part, this doesn't like have an effect on the actual election, but it's still really interesting and cool to see.
Yeah, overall, I agree. I think that he did good considering the circumstances. I mean, a lot of the time you couldn't completely tell if they were booing or cheering. So I think that was a good thing that you couldn't exactly tell that they were outright booing. But as a whole, I think for such a overall unfriendly environment, I think he did good. I don't know how much of the convention vote he'll get. I don't really know too much about the whole Libertarian convention system. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get more votes than a few of the smaller Libertarian candidates, but I don't expect him to get the endorsement. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, for sure. And again, like I was saying, like the only way this could actually like have an impact. I mean, even this, I don't know. But Trump survived, having like a huge chant against him and like basically being booed off the stage, right? Like this, it wasn't like some complete disaster that will be like looked back at in history books and stuff and will be remembered forever, right, by people who watch and stuff. So whatever, but still so interesting. I mean, lots
think-
of it seemed like people against him, but I mean, some a lot for him.
I think that he could have done a little bit better if he would have emphasized less on it was a wasted vote if you don't vote for me, because that's definitely going to de-emphasize a lot of people who are libertarians, because of course they do vote third party and they already know that it's not necessarily a huge vote. Like, it can be considered throwing it away. But him mentioning that, I think, could have de-emphasized a lot of their support for him potentially.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, they already know that they're throwing away their vote, and they clearly don't care if they're coming to a libertarian convention, right? Like, they're all for that. They hate the Republican Party and the Democratic Party just as much. So yeah, but there were quite a few chickens I saw, the rubber chickens that the Kennedy campaign was handing out. But you couldn't really hear them.
Did you see the doll-looking thing, like, after Trump walked off the stage? Did you see the guy waving that around?
No. Are you sure it wasn't just a chicken?
No, it wasn't a chicken because it had arms and legs. Like, it wasn't wings, it was like arms.
I wonder what that was.
Yeah, I was trying to tell what it was, but then he kind of dropped it.
Yeah. All right. Any actual substantive, is that a word, substantive?
Yeah.
Comments here? Probably not. We have 15 viewers. But yeah, I mean, they definitely seem to like Kennedy a lot more than Trump, because yesterday when Kennedy spoke, there wasn't really a single time that he was booed at all, when there clearly was for Trump. But yeah, as for how many votes that these guys will be getting, these non-libertarians will be getting tomorrow when they actually vote.
Do you know what? Oh, there it is. There. Oh no, that's not the doll.
Oh.
That's a chicken.
Yeah, he's got a Kennedy hat with holding a chicken.
But yeah, it was someone like in that area. They were holding like a full-on doll. Like, they were just flailing it around. I was really confused by that. But do you know what time the actual vote is for
No.
nominating?
I could definitely figure that out. I'll post it on my community page.
Okay.
But I don't know, because like, at any convention, right, you have to be nominated, right? Someone has to put you into nomination consideration. You say you nominate this person, and then they receive the votes, and then whoever gets the majority wins the actual nomination. So I don't know, like, for sure if people like Trump and Kennedy will even be nominated.
Well, the thing is, if it's like the Utah convention like a few weeks ago, you saw candidates who weren't even serious contenders. They still got several votes in the convention for like some of the offices and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised to still see Trump get votes, because someone is probably going to nominate him. But
Yeah, I don't know if like you have to be. I mean, it's tough, because I don't know, like, if you have to be an actual libertarian candidate for president to be nominated, but probably not, because like there was a question like whether Trump clearly wants to seek this nomination, right? He wants this nomination. So I don't know if you can just vote for anyone or whatever the rules are, but we'll see tomorrow. I might honestly just broadcast that live, because that would be really fun to actually watch the voting live to see who the nominee is. Because what's fun about these libertarian conventions and everything like that is you don't know who it's going to be, right? In Democrat and Republican primaries, you have poll after poll. you have whatever debate after debate. You have the media talking about it 24/7. But these libertarian conventions, who are these people, right? Like no one has ever heard of these people before now,
I
and
mean,
it could
I know who Chase Oliver is simply because he's
yeah,
from my state,
right.
but
Like if you're involved in if you know your
yeah.
politics, you might know Chase Oliver from 2022. But most of these guys, I'll say, like who knows who these delegates will vote for?
And I
These
mean,
are
you only have a couple thousand votes you can look off of because I mean, you've had a few primaries, but like
yeah,
still they don't matter. I
but
mean, the
even
only
those
one of
like
the only time that we've basically known who the Libertarian was going to be was 2016 when Gary Johnson was running because like it
mhm,
was Gary Johnson. But other than that, every time it's, kind of a complete shock. And in 2020, I think you saw one of the most moderate libertarians you could get. Like she's right in between the right of the Libertarian Party and the left of the Libertarian
yeah,
Party in Joe Jorgensen. So it's going to be interesting this year if we see another, moderate libertarian candidate, or if we see someone on the left of the spectrum that's a libertarian, or if we see someone on the right. So that's going to be another interesting thing to look at. And that'll also determine, who they steal more votes from, like, because obviously you're going to have the libertarians who are libertarian, they're going to vote libertarian, but you're also going to have a few voters who might be Republicans or Democrats who vote libertarian, and it's going to depend on the person's ideology, who steals more votes from which party. So
yeah. On that note, I really think though that whoever the libertarians put up, they will do kind of really bad, and that's because of the differences between 2016 and 2020 from now, because this time around you have two kind of prominent independents already in the race, Cornel West, but more prominently Robert F. Kennedy Jr. So
also
my,
Jill Stein, but less so.
right, but my point is that like any let me put it this way, like any Democrat or Republican or independent who is dissatisfied with the two-party system and would, under normal circumstances, like 2016 where the Libertarian was the most prominent third-party candidate, where under normal circumstances they would consider the Libertarian Party, I feel that just because of how well Kennedy is doing, they will just be immediately attracted to Kennedy rather than go towards Libertarians. And not to mention, I think that a lot of Libertarians will leave the party for Kennedy, especially depending on who the nominee is. If it's someone, more centrist like Chase Oliver or Lars Mapstead or Charles Ballet.
So I think also that some might not love Kennedy, like the right wing of the party. If
Yeah.
like the right wing libertarians, they're probably not going to go for Kennedy as much because Kennedy does support more populist things when it comes to economics. He's also more in favor of some environmental regulations, which, while he might not be wrong in supporting those, he can't really appeal to libertarians who, as a whole, the Libertarian Party can be quite insane, but they also have a few ideas that are good.
Yeah.
I think as a whole, the Libertarian Party is either really good on an issue or really bad on an issue. I don't really think they're in between on anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Because like some things, like a
Oh,
lot of what they say makes sense.
On point said, "Let me join." Can you send the link in the chat?
I already did. I don't want him on. He'll probably just like I don't know.
It would be interesting though. I haven't been able to talk to him in person. Do you mind if he joins?
I don't want to. He'll just like make fun of me for my predictions.
Well, kick
even
him
though
if he
he
does.
doesn't
And I
do it.
mean, even if he does, it's not that big of a deal because I mean, if your predictions are right, you don't care what he thinks. I mean, it's your predictions, so his opinion doesn't matter. I just think it would be interesting to have him on, but it's fine if you don't want him.
Okay, fine. I just did it.
Okay.
Let's see if he does. Lego post presidency. I admit I overreacted with some states
Oh
in
yeah,
regards to Haley.
guys, Haley is winning South Carolina.
I know.
Yes,
So true.
I admit too. I did get Washington D.C. very wrong. I should have considered that more closely, but that was the only primary state I did actually call wrong.
Yeah, I did predict Haley would win, but I thought it would be very narrow. She won by 30 points. She more than doubled.
I shouldn't be surprised though
Trump.
because a lot of the DC Republicans are very establishmentarian and more moderate, so like it doesn't surprise me that she won
Mhm.
now that I look back. But I was just considering, Trump is very well known. He might do a 50-state sweep at that point, but he didn't. So
Yeah, and I just realized this recently, and I gotta hold on to this more when I publish
On
that
point is
channel.
here.
Oh, okay. But I got every single Republican primary state prediction right. I didn't miss a single one. I said Haley would win Vermont, and I said Haley would win DC, and I said that Trump would win the rest.
Hello, guys.
Hey, how are you doing?
Hello.
I'm good. Oh, by the way, the political chatter, listen, man, like you and me may not have like the same political opinions, but I'm not gonna come on your show and like just make fun of you on your show. That's like kind of disrespectful.
Yeah.
So, like we're good. Don't worry. I don't have a problem with you. The only one I fucking have a problem with is Let's Talk Elections because he's just completely bought out. So.
Yeah, seriously. Like he used to be. Yeah, I feel the same way. He used to be cool, but now he's just like I don't know what. I don't know if he's like paid. I mean, I assume he's not paid. I don't think he's like
no. He works for Biden. He said he works for the Biden campaign. Like he said it on his Twitter like about a year ago. I've seen.
Well, he's an intern for the White House. I don't know. I don't think he's involved with the campaign.
Well, I mean, if he's an intern for the White House, that makes it even that's actually worse. That's actually no wonder.
Also, he goes to Harvard, so like 90%.
No wonder why he's been posting all this. I mean, if he's interning for the White House and shit, I mean, of course he's fucking. No wonder that I did not know.
Agree with that.
That's great, but no, I mean, I'm just here. Actually, you know what? Hold on, give me 1, 2. Let me see. Where are you?
Binkley says he was in a Biden campaign video.
Okay, I'm not even gonna lie though.
Was?
I'm not even gonna lie, TPC. You look like a younger LTE.
Oh my god, I know.
It's scary.
It's scary. Thank you. I was wondering if anyone else would realize that, but in LTE's like younger, older videos when he was younger, I look like right now exactly like how he used to. Like
I know it's really scary.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, and he's like
actually
he's like Asian, and I'm like not Asian at all. But
he's Asian?
Yeah, he's like Filipino or something. Huh. But so let's put in.
So funny. It's so funny because I knew someone before that was like Filipino and like they were all like super liberal. It was like funny. Like we were friends. Like we stopped being friends for like something else. Like some stuff happened, but it was just funny because like for some reason that Asian demographic leans like the younger ones lean very Democrat, but the older ones are super Republican. But like with other demographics, it's like the opposite. Like it's kind of weird.
Yeah, because the older ones are so much more like religious, right? Because
I guess that I mean
Well, also I think the older ones still. If you're talking about like the Filipino demographic, I think they're more just as a whole conservative, and they're more opposed to bigger government stuff.
Yeah,
and I think that helps.
Right. I mean, yeah, whatever. Most like Hispanics and Asians are more like at least the older ones like value capitalism still and stuff like that. So
yeah, but as a whole, basically most of the entire Latino demographic, they're very religious. So that's so like they're like usually economically left wing, but then socially right wing. So it's kind of an interesting group. I mean, I would say the same for the black demographic too, because I mean it's basically the same thing, especially in the South. I mean it's different more so like in the Rust Belt and North and other parts of the country, but in the South, the African American demographic, it's like they're really, or I shouldn't say really, but they are left wing on economics. But then when it comes to social issues, I mean they're fairly conservative.
Yeah, and I think that's another reason that people don't talk about a lot is why, especially African American men are going towards the Republicans now, because like, I hate to talk about this just because I think it's so annoying, but like wokeism, I'm sorry. I had to say the word, just because like, people talk about that so much now, and, now it's in people's heads and they associate it with the Democrats. And as you said, they are socially conservative.
It's interesting because with, the older demographics and, as a whole, the white demographic, it's economics that you talk about that appeals to them. But now it's more or less usually social issues that appeals to the younger demographics and also many minority demographics, whether it be, you're progressive on it or you're conservative. That's what is, getting a lot of these voters out to vote, and it's what's getting them to voice their opinion. So it's very interesting.
Okay, so I have to pull up this comment here because I have to address this because it annoys me so much. Lego Post Presidency says I was thinking of endorsing RFK after Haley dropped out. I just have to say, It is
Wow.
not called endorsing if no one cares about who you are supporting. Like, it's not just Lego post presidency. Like people in comments constantly, and like on Twitter, like people like on Twitter with like 300 followers are like, yeah, I'm endorsing this guy.
candidate for president. Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
know,
okay,
like
buddy.
no one cares. It's not an endorsement. Please stop.
Yeah,
Oh
no,
my god.
yeah. I hate
Also,
it.
Haley and RFK Jr. couldn't be further apart politically.
Yeah.
They're like the polar. Yeah, it's like the polar opposite. It's
Well,
like,
I wouldn't. Well, I guess it's not completely polar because
It
you
is.
have because Haley isn't like far right, I guess you could say, but like on economics, they're completely disagreed because Haley is the Bush Republican type, and on
Yeah.
foreign policy, but then on with RFK, he's more of a populist or left wing populist, so that's a lot of clashing there. But also on domestic policy, they're very different too. So
Yeah,
guys,
like
really, I do
Haley,
have to go in a few minutes, but I did want to like show like support and whatnot. So
wait, what?
like I'm gonna be in here for a couple minutes more, but
Oh.
I just wanted to join to like show support to the channel.
Oh,
Stuff like that.
okay, okay.
I
Thanks.
actually linked your stream in like my Discord and my community tab, and I told everybody do not say anything mean, do not do anything, even though
actually?
you have different political opinions, just go and support him. Like, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
wait,
thanks.
so on point, what's your current presidential map, by the way? Like, has it changed since you last?
Okay, so
updated it?
here's the thing. The thing is that me and Gold Crown Politics are predicting Trump actually wins the election very easily, and it's really just looking at the data that we have right now. And
I agree with that.
And the thing is, right now, guys, he is leading in the average by 2.4%. Like, yes, things could change, things could become different. Like, of course, Biden could, catch up in the average. Like, anything is possible. But as of right now, I have Trump winning 328 electoral votes. He basically picks up all the major swing states, and he picks up Nebraska second, and he gets Minnesota and New Mexico. And the margins in Minnesota and New Mexico are like razor thin close. Like he could lose them.
So
do you think he takes Minnesota, New Mexico?
I think as of right now, I think he does. It's very well in play. That's what my model is forecasting. If I had to like go with my gut, I'd say he doesn't take Minnesota, but that's what my current model is projecting right now.
So the thing is, in 2022, when you had some strong candidates running in New Mexico, Ronchetti for governor, you had Yvette Harrell, she was the incumbent in New Mexico in the congressional races. We lost every seat in the congressional elections. We underperformed in 2 of them, and then we also lost one. But then on the governor race, we lost it by 6-7 points, and she's very unpopular. So I don't think if we couldn't win in a year that was at least somewhat favorable to us, or was supposed to be, I don't see Trump winning it, especially when you have libertarian voters in the state. They love independent candidates.
Well,
not
guys,
just Gary Johnson, but as a whole, they do vote very third party.
Guys, the thing with the data from 2022, me and Gold Crown Politics have really gone back and forth on this in private calls, and he's posted content. He's growing right now a lot too, actually. And what me and him noticed is that if you actually looked at the data going into 2022, you wouldn't have actually expected a red wave year. Like you really wouldn't have seen it, because if we actually paid attention, we looked at the data, the polling error in the midterms is always way smaller than the presidential elections. And right now, what's interesting, right? Donald Trump seems to underperform the House Republican vote by like around 2 points. And right now, Gold Crown Politics is modeled based off the current polling average and the polling errors during presidential years. He has the House at around 4.5 points for the Republicans. And without third-party candidates, Trump would be at leading around 2-3%, 2.5% according to his model. He has Trump winning the popular vote by 5.5%. And he actually got the entire 2020 election correct. Like half of my model basically factors in his model. What he did is he was able to predict the popular vote. So he got Biden plus 5.2, which is less than a point off of what the popular vote actually was. And then what he does is he projects how relative each state's going to vote relative to the nation. So for Georgia, it voted 7.2% to the right of the country in 2016. And he looked at the average shift from 2008 to 2016, and he noticed each election cycle, it shifted a certain amount of points to the left. And so what he did is he basically took the average shift and he got the relative vote to the nation, and he subtracted the average shift from the relative vote to the nation from 2016, and he got Georgia voting to the right of the nation by around like 4 point something percent. And then I think it was like 4.6. And then what he did was he got the popular vote and he subtracted the projected relative vote to the nation from his popular vote prediction, and he got Biden plus 0.6 in Georgia. And he got every state correct last cycle.
Wow.
Wait, so how did he like generate his popular vote prediction like overall? Where did
So what
that
he
come
did
from?
is he actually got the RCP aggregate, and what he does is he doesn't go based off of what RCP has. He gets all of the polls from the last month in the national aggregate. He literally goes from the latest poll to literally exactly a month behind, and he updates it like that because he finds that it's a better sample size and it tends to be more accurate. So what he got was a Biden plus 8.7 aggregate on the day before election day or on election day, and he put the popular vote at plus 5.2 for Biden based off his projected polling error, which was around like 3.5 points.
Okay, so
That's insane.
So
Yeah,
he actually got every state correct. Like I think he predicted Texas is like exactly a 5-point win. He got like Florida plus 2.9 for Trump. In Arizona, he got Biden plus 0.4. He predicted Nevada like plus 3. Wisconsin was like 0.2 Biden. Michigan was like 2.2 Biden. Pennsylvania, he did have it under a point, but I mean, he still got the whole election correct, guys. And that is the only reason why I factored in his portion of the model into my model. Like basically, I have my original model, and then there's his, and then we average out our results.
Emperor Palpatine. Look at chat.
Oh God.
What
Delete.
happened?
Oh God. No. Delete. Oh God, he got it before I could delete it. Let me delete all them.
So
Wow.
that's how Gold Crown Politics was able to 100% predict the election 100% correctly last time. That's the only reason why I was able. That's why the only reason why I'm incorporating his models, because he was able to get it 100% right.
Did he predict in the 2022 midterms?
The 2022 midterms, he actually told me that he didn't do like a model prediction, but he told me that he had Pennsylvania going for Fetterman. He had Herschel Walker winning Georgia, and I think he had Adam Laxalt winning Nevada, but he had Blake Masters losing, and he had Ron Johnson winning. So I mean, like that's not that bad, because Adam Laxalt barely lost, and in Georgia in the first round, Herschel Walker lost by like half a point. So that's really not that bad. And for the governorships, he said he didn't really do a direct prediction for those. In the House, he had Republicans winning the House by like a few seats.
Okay, so I enjoy listening to your videos. I think they're very interesting. It's just I feel like some of them are too biased, like the Senate prediction. Like no offense, but I just don't see Pennsylvania flipping on the Senate level. I just don't see Casey losing after all these years.
I mean, if Trump is projected to win Pennsylvania, because the way you got to understand, the way that I do my Senate predictions is based on my presidential model. Do I think right now that Bob Casey is going to win Pennsylvania? Probably, but I have to do my Senate predictions based on my model because of the fact that it's a presidential year and coattails, especially with Trump, are always very strong. And all these people trying to claim that reverse coattails exist, like, for example, like LTE said that Josh Stein is going to help Biden possibly be in play in North Carolina, is extremely idiotic. It's extremely idiotic that he suggests that, because there is no historical data out there that actually proves that there's ever been a time where a down ballot candidate in a presidential year was actually able to help the presidential candidate in a state. That there has been no like real correlation for that. Now,
okay, so take away your model. What like minus your model, what is your Senate prediction minus your model?
My Senate prediction would probably be, let me pull up the Senate right now. You're not going to see it on my screen. But if I had to predict the Senate, disregarding my model, I think that the Republicans start off with the safe states, with 48 seats. They win Montana and Ohio by likely margins. Guys, I have Donald Trump winning these. Guys, Montana is going to be over 20 points for Trump. Ohio, he's going to win that by over 10. There is no way John Tester is going to outperform Biden by 20 points. It's not happening.
I see Sheehy winning by about 1.5 as of now.
There's no way. It can't be. Trump in a, like, if Trump were to lose the popular vote by the same amount, he's probably winning Ohio by 10. In that case, Bernie Moreno probably ekes it out by 3 or 4 points.
So
I don't think he's going to win anything less by 2. I don't think that's going to happen.
With the current standing, with Biden not being on the ballot in Ohio, which probably won't hold, but if it does, I have it being Moreno +4. But if it doesn't hold, I have it being Moreno.
It would be way higher. It would be way higher than that if Biden's on the ballot. It would. Moreno would probably win by 6 or 7 if that was the case, and that's assuming that we're in a competitive national environment. Which right now, I think Trump's leading the popular vote by a couple points at that. I think Maryland would still go under 15, even in a best. I think maybe also Brooks would win it by 12 or 13. New Jersey, I have it as likely. New York, I actually think would be under 15 on the Senate level. The polling there with Christian Gilbert, I think that's her name, against generic Republicans is super bad. Like, she is
okay. To be fair, though,
she's down
in the past. There have been polls in many states that are between, generic Republican, generic Democrat, and almost always it overestimates the Republicans. Especially
but a generic Democrat or Republican is the perfect candidate. Like, those polls mean nothing.
Yeah, but this is New York. It's not Arizona. Like, if Arizona, the Republican was leading by 6, generic Republican against Ruben Gallego, and it was 6 points, I'd be like, oh, no, it's way less than that. But I'm not going to say that the New York Senate candidate is going to get within 5. That's dumb. But I think it could be under 15 because I have Biden winning the state by under 15.
Yeah, no, I think it's under 15 because Gillibrand is like unpopular. Like, a lot of people hate Gillibrand for some reason.
Hawaii is safe. I think Hawaii is safe. That senator always outperforms the presidential ticket. I think New Mexico would be likely.
1 minute, guys. I'll be right back. I have to go get something to drink.
Minnesota, I think, would be likely because Amy Klobuchar is like a super electoral juggernaut. I think she probably wins by like over 10 points. Like, I
think it's safe.
It's not plus 15. It's not. Biden will probably either eke out the state or potentially even lose it. Amy Klobuchar cannot win by over 15 points with Biden.
Biden wins by like 3 or 4. I mean, it's close.
Even if Biden were to win by 3 or 4 points, Amy Klobuchar would not be able to win by over 15. You got to understand that, like, this year, the Senate candidates are going to perform in a range similar to the presidential candidate because, like, last time, let's look at, like, for example, 2018, right? She won by 24 points in a D+9 national environment in an off year. 2012, she won by 34, but Barack Obama won Minnesota by a lot. He won it by around 7.7%, and the popular vote was D+4. So,
but she overperformed there by what, 20 points or something, or like 17 points,
right? But she's been there for a while, and I have Trump getting within 2-3 points of the state. She's never performed in a scenario where, and also Obama was significantly more popular than Biden at that point in time. If Biden had Obama approval ratings, I'd probably tell you that she'd win by over 15, but I think she wins by 12, 13 points.
Okay, so I'm back. So, by the way, did you do any 2022 predictions? I think you did a video at one point talking about how you didn't do 2020 predictions, but then, like, you made a map for how you would have predicted it or something. I don't really remember.
Yeah, that's what I did. I got 278 for Biden to 260 Trump. The places I got wrong were Arizona, Georgia, and Nebraska second. I had Arizona till R, Georgia like 1.5 for Trump, and I had Nebraska second going Republican because I didn't realize it was trending left. Like, I had just started talking about politics. Like,
yeah, I've
no clue about that.
I've been into politics since like 2018, but like it didn't really peak until like 2021 with the Virginia gubernatorial election. Like I knew stuff before that, but it wasn't like a hobby like excessively of mine.
Right.
But I basically started like getting into it in 2021. But like my main question was, did you do any predictions in 2022? Like,
Yeah, my predictions in 2022 were super off because I was one of those
same.
people. I was one of
Same.
those people who thought, oh, it says R+2. Oh, we're gonna get R+6 national environment. It's gonna be off by 4 points. But I didn't do my research when looking at the polling bias and thinking it was gonna be way worse. And in my head, I thought that the presidential years and the midterm years were going to be similar. So I was like, well, if Republicans are winning by 2, then, oh, well, gee, I guess they're going to win, certain states that, they could win New Mexico. They could win this. Now, I didn't have the Senate candidate winning New Mexico. I had Laura Kelly losing. I had Carrie Lake winning. I had Brian Kemp winning. I'll actually go over what I thought. I had the Republicans with 53 seats in the Senate.
You weren't even as bad as me, man. I had 54.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I own up to it. I had 54. I have changed a lot since then.
I'm pretty sure I had it 50-50, or it might have been 51 for Republicans. Might have been 51. But I was pretty.
You guys want to know something funny about that election? Red Eagle has talked about this too, because everyone's like, well, but you were wrong in the midterms. But the thing with that is that the funny part about that is Trump. If you look at the polling data in like September, October for the midterm races in the swing states, all of the polling data was pretty much correct right up until above September, because that's when like early voting people like stop voting. And so what happens is me and him kind of realize, well, why would people continue to answer pollsters after they casted their ballot? That doesn't make any sense. So there was an illusion that Republicans were gaining ground when it was really just Democrats who voted early who stopped answering pollsters. If you look at all the polling data in all of the states, it actually had it all in a range of like late September, early October. You basically had the margin that you got in the actual election.
So you're saying before that point it was not accurate, but then during that point it was?
Like, okay, let me give you an example.
So do you think that's how it's going to be this year too? Like it's not
Well,
accurate
I don't know about that. That I don't know about that. That I'm not sure, but that's what happened in 2022. And we should have realized that was what happened. Like we should have been able to pick up on, oh, there's a lot of Democrats voting early and they're just not answering pollsters anymore. And it's creating an illusion that Republicans are gaining ground. That's what we should have realized.
So you're saying like early October, after that point, that's when it started getting, good for Republicans.
That's when people like stopped answering.
So
right.
Did that happen in 2018 or 2020 as well?
2018, I honestly can't tell you because I haven't looked at the polling data, but that's what me and Red Eagle and Gold Crown Politics have kind of analyzed about that year.
So that did happen in 2020 as well.
In 2020, well, not necessarily. Well, it depends what you look at, because some of the aggregates were a little bit different. It's actually funny because the aggregates in Arizona and Pennsylvania were actually super accurate that year. It was the Rust Belt that was very off, in favor of Biden. And the reason why I believe that happens is because, let me actually get to answer your question first. I'm trying to find the RCP aggregate for that year. That year, it's kind of confusing looking at the polling data because Trump actually made gains in the last month, and the last half month of the election. He gained about 3 points in the aggregate, and then he ended up outperforming the aggregate by a decent amount. Biden barely, in the RCP aggregate, Biden was actually underestimated there by 0.2%, but Trump was underestimated there by way more. He ended up going from 44 to 46.9. And the reason why that happened is because you had a lot of people that were not being polled in certain rural areas, just like 2016. That is where that error comes from. Now, my personal opinion is that I think that the polling error is going to be just as bad as 2020 or even worse, because now you have Trump gaining with Hispanic and African American voters, and there's a lot of younger voters that are not going to be answering polling data. Like, I've never answered a polling. I've never answered a pollster ever. I've never answered.
I was polled once.
I've never answered one, and I'm a Trump supporter. But I'm not just gonna do it based off of anecdotal research. There's a lot of.
Are you saying that you think that polls are gonna underestimate Trump again?
I think they are, because right now my model, I have Trump ahead by 2.4% in the RCP aggregate, because that's the third part. That's the five-way race. I use the five-way aggregate. I don't use the one-to-head matchup. And what's actually quite funny is that if I actually look at my model and I actually go ahead and what is it called? The aggregate has Trump ahead by like 1.1 in a head-to-head matchup. And
so do you think
if you were to look at that, you would actually see that if you were to plug that into my model, Trump wins 313 electoral votes, which seems fairly reasonable for that aggregate. But since Trump is leading by 2.4 within the five-way race, he's seeing pickups in New Mexico and Minnesota very close. Like, he could still lose them. Like, I'm not saying my model could be 100% accurate. Like, those states could be wrong. I don't think Wisconsin could be wrong, because he's leading. I have him. My model, it's going to sound really stupid, but I have him leading. My model has him leading Wisconsin by 10.
So what's your prediction out of Wisconsin as of now?
I think Trump pulls it out. I think Trump right now it probably gets like 312
electoral votes.
Yeah, I think he's set right now to get 312, because right now, if the polling for Biden with Hispanic and young voters and African American voters just looks super bad. And then what's funny is that everyone's trying to point out, well, boomers are shifting towards Biden and things like that. But the same thing happened in 2020, and Trump was severely underestimated with that demographic, presumably because a lot of them don't answer pollsters. A lot of them usually don't use the technology that's necessary for pollsters to reach out to them in that way. And I'm talking about, 70, 80-year-old voters plus 65 voters. Now, do I think that demographic is going to start trending left? Yes. That I think is going to happen, because you're seeing that the people from the 70s and 80s, the more like, hippie generation, is becoming older. So in 20 years from now, you're going to see the plus 65 vote get a lot closer and possibly be competitive. But I don't think Trump's going to do worse with that demographic this time around. I think he's going to improve from 2020, but only by like a couple points, not by like 10 points or something like that.
Yeah, so my prediction as of now, I have Trump at 282 and Biden at 256.
What do you have him winning?
Trump?
You have Biden winning you have him winning Arizona and Michigan. Why do you have him?
I have him winning Arizona and Pennsylvania.
Why do you have him winning Pennsylvania?
So Pennsylvania, I'm not solely basing this off of 2022, but
okay,
you did see a lot of bad results happen in 2022 in Pennsylvania for Republicans, and part of that was, yes, horrible candidate selection.
Okay, yes,
but also, yes, you've seen the numbers switch over and stuff, and also I have Pennsylvania really close as of now. Like, I think it could go either way. I just have it leaning towards Biden as of now, like by a tilt margin.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't really see Trump being able to overcome some stuff that, goes on there. And also, I think you're going to see Philly turn out a lot for Biden. I think Trump definitely improves on his, 2020 performance. I think that he does better in the rurals than he did in 2020. I think he gets more voters out there. I think he does better in the working class areas too. It's just, I don't see him being able to break enough voters off that it would, cancel out Biden's effect in the Philly suburbs and suburbs across the state, because that's what Biden is going to perform.
I think that
you guys are severely overestimating Biden's performance with suburban voters.
I don't at all, because I don't think it's Biden overperforming. I think it's Trump underperforming, and I think that Biden will do just as good, if not better, in the Philly suburbs than 2020. I mean, he is not a strong candidate for suburbs. He's just not.
Trump is not going to underperform 2020 by a significant amount. I'd say Trump probably gets 71, 72 million votes, maybe. Biden gets around the same amount, maybe 73, 74. If I had a gun pointed to my head, that's what I'd get.
Yeah, no, nationally. I'm going to good discussion. I'm going to end this stream very soon because
Okay.
my laptop is dying. But before we end, tomorrow, Libertarian Convention votes. Who are we thinking is nominated? We have
That's a tough question. It's
Donald Trump.
because again, you really have no idea up until it
Right.
happens.
That is
because
the craziest map ever. North Carolina was none of the above. Are you serious?
Yes. Look at this map.
So Chase Oliver has won the most contests there. Okay.
But
yeah, it's funny. Chase Oliver couldn't win the Deep South because he is let's
I
just say
know.
the Deep
Joshua-
South doesn't. The Deep South doesn't like his personal life, even though he's from the Deep
Yes.
South.
Wait, go up. Wait, go up. Wait, go. Charles.
so this dude was
Bailey.
the only candidate on the California ballot, so that's why he's pushing him.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? I was like,
Yeah.
why does he have way more votes? That
Yeah,
makes
no one
sense.
even like during the debate. I watched the debate actually today, the Libertarian debate. He was in it, and he got like booed for saying it was for saying that it was for this. He got booed for saying that people should be allowed to take vaccines. Yeah.
Oh well,
Wow.
I mean, Gary Johnson got booed in 2016 for
I'm
saying
gonna
that
give
people
my
should
take.
wear seatbelts. He got booed like
That debate has to be like the funniest ever from 2016.
So I think it's either going to be Chase Oliver, Lars Mapstead, possibly Rechtenwald. So probably one of those three. I wouldn't be surprised to see one of those three. Maybe Kennedy too, but I doubt.
Yeah,
Did Kennedy even go?
Yeah, he did. He made a
Kennedy's
speech
speech
yesterday.
Oh, he did? Oh, then he definitely has a major chance of winning that.
I doubt it. So many of these guys don't want a non-libertarian to be the nominee. They've made that so clear.
I think Trump could get a couple. I think Trump could get a couple delegates there. I think Kennedy is going to get a couple delegates there. I not gonna lie, his speech there was not bad at all. Donald Trump actually gave. I think he was pretty on message there, actually, and I think he was brutally honest to the point where I feel like some people there probably really appreciated it, and I think he may get a decent amount of delegates. Now, do I think he's gonna win it? Probably not. I think it's very unlikely that he wins it, but I think he probably could get a decent amount of delegates. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets like 5th or 6th place there, even 4th. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets like in the couple, like in the top category. I wouldn't be surprised.
So, like I was saying earlier, right before I have to go just soon, but like I was saying earlier, I think that the one thing that did hurt Trump was that he was kind of emphasizing that if you don't vote for me, you're throwing your vote away, which didn't really go over well in a third-party convention. But other than that, I think Trump did do good considering the fact that, he was in a unfriendly, place. But yeah, also, if I had to lock in who I think is going to win as of now, I think it's probably I'm going to say Oliver.
So Oliver, he has so much of an online presence, and he does a great job with that in his campaign. I doubt it's him. I think he comes across as too moderate to most of these libertarians, and a lot of people are saying that Michael Rechtenwald has the strong support of the Mises Caucus. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
Yeah.
They're like a more out there anti-establishment caucus that's like taken over the party. So I'm thinking it's Rechtenwald. I think it's going to be Rechtenwald or Lars Mapstead, because I feel that Mapstead could take a lot of votes from everywhere, like the centrist wing, the Mises Caucus, and everywhere in between.
Yeah, they've become more of they're basically the right wing of the Libertarian Party right now. Also, I just want to point I do want to point this out. In 2020, Hornberger almost won. He actually won the most votes in the primary, but then he didn't win the convention. Just interesting. The second place candidate was Jo Jorgensen. She won the second most amount of votes. So just saying, if you're saying the second most highest performing candidate wins, it's Chase Oliver, which doesn't make it doesn't mean he's gonna. If Hornberger's the nominee, though, they're so done. He is insane.
Yeah, but he wasn't even invited to the debate, which is surprising.
I wonder why. He's literally insane.
All right. Well, I'm gonna end this here.
All right, then.
Yeah, thanks to everyone for joining.
Sounds good.
Thanks everyone for watching as well. We had not crazy amount of viewers, but whatever. So I'll see everyone later. Again, thanks for watching, and yeah. And this
All right.
Subscribe to Tester is done.
No, don't do that. Oh,
Do it.
also,
Do it.
Conservative American Predictions. Check the community tab. Just posted another AI. It's good.
Okay, I got it.
Yes. All right. See ya.
All right.